everybody, welcome to Alisas Art Room. Today we're going to be working on my country farmhouse junk journal. Y'all come in and say hi, let me know you're here. We're currently live on Facebook if you see the little red button at the top left. If not, you're catching a replay either here or on YouTube. Let me get you guys pulled up so I can see chat. Today we're going to be working on the charm tassel. I'm just going to give you guys a second to get on the live, and hopefully somebody will say if the sound is okay. It should be. It's all the way up. Look at this thing. It's big. It's bulky. My usual people aren't on yet. Sound okay? I assume it is. Let me just listen. Hold on. All right, I think it is. I think it's okay. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the camera up top so I can get started on this. So give me just a second to move everything. Come on, focus. Focus. Oh my goodness, camera. Really? Okay, I think that's good. Let's see. Can't believe how big this got. I should though, because you know, that's me. I just keep adding stuff and it always gets too much at the bottom. I had a couple things in here that were movable, but I honestly just like them better at the bottom, so I'm not sure. I might move this one to the top a little bit more, because that will definitely help with the bulk. Just helps even it out, because I tend to put all the pockets and things at the bottom, and then it gets very bottom heavy. If you don't put a lot of top tucks, and I don't really put a lot of top tucks. I tend to put all bottom things. So I did add some lace to, lace to some of the edges. Trying to find that other piece. I taped it in place because I think I wanted it near the bottom, but I might move it to the top. Right. There. This one, it's gonna have it closer to the bottom, but honestly it needs to be at the top, so I'm just gonna move it, and the tape's only there temporarily until I sew it in. I'll move it. I think I'm gonna go about there. Hopefully that helps kind of even out that bulk. Let's see how that feels. It's a little bit better, a little more even. So I did add some lace. I just kind of matched the colors that were on the cover. So it's got some red and some of this dark green and some black in the lace, and I just kind of did a few pages here and there, places I could fit it and it looked good. So there's some lace on there. And we're going to work on the charm tassel today. This is basically done. So here's the writing board. You didn't get a notification again, Don? I'm sorry. I wondered why you weren't on yet. So there's a writing board. A couple of different pictures on there. And I've coated it with microglaze and beeswax. So it's very waterproof and sturdy. It goes in our little side pocket. But I think the lace looks good. I wasn't sure about the colors, but then once I started looking at the cover, I was like, yeah, you know, that works. So we're going to work on the tassel. I've already put an eyelet in here and a jump ring, and I've got my little hook here, which I'm going to take out here. I'm just going to pull all this out because we don't need it right now. And I'm going to pull this and this out too. So these are the little Tim Holtz hooks. And basically one side kind of squeezes in and then you unlatch it like that. It works best if you put it on a jump ring. If you just put it directly, it doesn't lay flat. It like, let's see if I can get it, just do it. So you can see what I mean. So it tends to kind of stick out funny on the edge there. It wants to stay at an angle, no matter which way you put it. So I like to put it on the jump ring, so that's what the jump ring's for. And then this is what we're going to attach our ribbon to for our tassel. You didn't get notified either. Okay, well, great. Facebook's doing its thing. All right, let's get some light over there. All right, so what I like to do is I put this on here so I can kind of figure out the size. So I kind of set it on there, whatever hook you're using, and then I figure out, you know, how long my ribbons need to be once they're in there. So I did that. And then I've already sewn some of this because I didn't want to torture y'all with watching me hand sew because I'm very slow. But I bought those buttons, which I showed you. I'm not sure if I'm using that. And unfortunately, a lot of them have the I'll see if you can even see one of them. It's hard to see because I already sewed them in there. Anyway, here, I'll show you on the cow. So on the cow, the buttonhole thing is horizontally. So I can just insert it in a ribbon and, you know, simple and easy. But on all the others, or on like almost all the others, the horse has got it sideways, but almost all the others, it was vertically, which meant I couldn't just put it on a ribbon unless I wanted them all sideways. So what I did is I sewed them on there. So the ones I could put just directly on the ribbon, I just did that. But the ones I could not, what I did is I cut, if it didn't have a hole already, this one had a hole already. If it didn't have a hole already, I cut a slit in it, slid it over the little buttonhole thing, and then I just sewed around the buttonhole. So that's how I attach them so that they lay the right way. And I just did them at various distances so that hopefully I can work them out to stagger. Okay, so I've got a couple of varying degrees here. These are obviously movable, so I can put those wherever I need. I'm thinking it's going to be something like this, and then maybe the horse will be, I think my longest one was maybe the piggy. I'm not sure. Maybe I was thinking the chicken. They're a little longer than I needed just to be safe. And so I think I'm going to stagger this. I'm trying to get them just to kind of stagger. Here, we'll here. This will be like maybe about here. Okay. And I'm going to add some other things, but so these are my charms, and that's how I put them on there. But you want, obviously, for your halfway point on your ribbon, you want it to be, you know, the length that you want with all of your dingles and charms and whatever you've got on there. Okay, so now we got to figure out how we're going to piece this together, and with some tape, and we're going to lay all this out so that we can make a tassel. So the notifications are still showing. Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? It's so weird. All right, so I'll put a piece of tape. Let me think about where I want this tape. I think I want it here for my halfway mark. So this is going to be my center, and then we'll just pick the shortest one. I think the pig one is the shortest. Here, I'm just going to do it this way because I don't feel like measuring. So that's my point. Where'd that go? There it is. So about here and here is my ends. And then I can trim it if I need to. I left a little room so I can trim if I have to. So approximately here and here. Okay. And then what I like to do is figure out what is the top. What do I want to show on the top of this bundle? And I think I'm going to have this particular, I guess it's a chicken. It's either a chicken or a rooster. It's got a little bitty short, what do you call those? I've forgotten now. We'll say crown, but I know that's not the right word. But it's kind of roosterish, but it's kind of chickenish. So I don't know. But he's cute. My lighting's not showing him very well. It's so dark. But anyway, I think that will look good on the top. So we're going to put that one first, because it should be just below where my center is. So I think that's heading at a good spot. And then what did I say was next? The cow, maybe? Or the sheep? The cow's adjustable, so I can put that wherever I need to. The ones I sewed aren't adjustable anymore. They were at one point. Maybe the sheep. Horse is about there. And this chicken's not adjustable, so he'll have to go wherever he lays. So the horse maybe needs to go a little bit higher. Up there. And then maybe I'll do, and they don't have to be exact stagger, but you know, I wanted to have something of a stagger. This piggy's pretty low, so I think he's going to go probably about this distance. And I can alternate between other things. I am going to keep them all on one side, mostly because then it'll be in the front and comb. Thank you, Lori. This part I got to feed through my chain, and I don't want to fight with it, so I'm just going to do it that way. Let's see. I had a couple other ribbons here. I was debating on this one. I like this ribbon a lot. Just not sure how it's going to fit in here. I might put it just right after the first one. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, I think the black on the red there will look good. It's real cute. It's got like, I got this at Dollar Tree, believe it or not. It's got like little country farmhouse sayings on it. All right, so I'm going to glue these so that they stay where I want them to stay, hopefully. That's the goal anyway. I think I'm going to use Fabri-Tac. I usually use the art glue. I don't know, I'll use the glue to try it. And I'm only gluing them just so it'll stay long enough to get it in the loop. So we'll do that one. I think we'll do this one. I didn't do a lot of thin ones on here because I don't need to tie on charms since I'm doing it this way. But I think I'm just going to add a couple more colors. I think I'll add this green too. And let's see, so this should look okay after that. I'm trying to kind of put a couple of things in between the charms, but I don't want to add too much bulk because it gets too bulky, you can't close it up. We'll do one of these black and whites like on the cover just to kind of pull it in. Or black and white. Red and black. I don't know where my brain is. Brain's looking at the cow or something. Alright, so maybe the sheep next and then that color. I don't know. It's hard to tell from this side. Go that way. Let's do the sheep, I guess. And then I think I'll do maybe a green. Hopefully I didn't get it too bulky. I hope it's not too bulky. I think I'll do the cow maybe. Or should I do the horse? I should do the horse because I want to kind of stagger them. I'm hoping they stagger correctly. But I don't want them just all going this way, you know? It's hard to say how it's going to work. We'll see. I haven't done one this way yet, so. And the cow, I think. Yeah, we'll do the cow. Is he going to be in the right spot? I don't know. We can always move him if he's not. Yeah, that one's not going to stick good. Let's see if I can get this to stick. It does not like that material. It's almost a burlap. I can't get it to stick. I'll maybe switch over to Fabri-Tac. See if I can get it. It'll stick out once it starts drying good, but our glitter doesn't particularly like the burlap quickly. Are you going to stick? You're not going to stick, are you? Nope, it's not really sticking. All right, we'll try the Fabri-Tac. I just need it to stay long enough for me to thread it all through. There. I don't know what else I'll do today. I think this might be kind of it. And I might just kind of do a quick flip through or something because I don't think this will take me that long because I mostly did all the hard sewing part ahead of time. 'Cause I know that watching me sew buttons on would be boring as anything. Maybe the pig next. Come on. Need more Fabri-Tac. I think I'm gonna have to order some. Oh, do I have enough in there? I have a little in there. Not much. When it gets low in my squeezy thing, then I can't. You know, it takes forever for it to go down to the bottom. Or up to the top, or whatever it is. Up to the top, I guess. And then we'll do this red color. 2 reds, technically. And then the little hen will be last. Hopefully that is not too thick. I don't think it is. All right, so once you get them all kind of glued together, you can kind of see how it looks. If it looks like it's okay, I think that'll be fine. So I'm gonna fold that. Well, I'm gonna pinch it closed with something. What can I pinch it closed with? I should have a pink one in here somewhere. Do I? It's probably all in my bookbinding stuff. Okay, so we want this part to go through our little chain, which I got to put together. So I just take the chain and I hook it to itself up here through this hole that is already there. So all I'm going to do is put, if I can get the lighting to even show it, I'll put the other jump ring through the hole that the other one is in. So I'm going to attempt to put up my tools. All right. Wow. Vision. Where is it at? Oh, it's there. Okay. So you want to kind of see which way. Let me look under the light. There's usually a slant at the top of the jump ring where it opens and closes, and you just want to separate them apart. You don't want to pull them outward. So you want to go this way, okay? Can you see that? Let me see. I don't know if you can see it or not. So you're basically opening it sideways, not apart. If you do it apart, it never goes back together right. So always do it sideways if you don't know. I didn't know that until I started messing with jewelry more. Trying to get just on the right side of that. Hopefully I'm staying in camera. It's hard to stay in camera and look at what you're doing. Sorry, camera froze there for a second. And then you just turn them back to where it meets. And then I've got a little loop. Okay, and that's what I like to put my ribbon through. And, you know, is this a great way to do it? I don't know. It works for me most of the time. I'm going to try to get them together enough. Line up. And I'm going to start feeding them kind of through here, see if I can go through my chain. I have no idea which way I want that to sit. I think it's going to be sideways no matter what, so I'll probably just pick a side. Squish it in there. Now you can try to just loop it around and do it too. It does work. It's a little harder to hold all the ribbon and close the clamps, so you know, the little jump rings. So I find it easier just to do this way. And then I can kind of resituate everything. Squeeze that up to the top. Okay. I don't know why that's open. All right, jump ring, get off of there. Thank you. I'm gonna close it because it's being a pain. So you want to go up to where you had your middle. Okay, and then we're going to close that onto, which is the inside. Yeah, that should be right. I'm trying to get the hook part to be in. I think that's the way I want it. So then you just kind of close it up, and we're going to wrap something around that. Of course, I didn't grab anything out. I need something thinner. Probably just some red yarn or something I've got. You can use wax thread too, I guess. I've used that many times. But I think I'll go with the red yarn, which I know I have some. I just got to remember where I stuck it. I think it's in my basket. It's in my basket. Yep, it's in my basket. Okay. So I'm just going to use this. And I'm just going to make it the whole length, but I probably won't need that. And then what I'm going to do is have a tail, and that way I can tie it off, hopefully. And I think I'm going to start on the inside, maybe. What do you think about this? It doesn't really matter. Sometimes I put the knot on the inside, but a lot of the times it doesn't end up staying on the inside, so we're just going to make the knot wherever. Debating if I want it to be the whole length. I think I'm going to cut it off, so we're just going to leave it there. And I'm just going to wrap it really tight several times. And then I'll try to put the knot on the back, I think. So I'm going to flip it over. Tie that down. Fingers are not working. All right, there. So get it knotted, and I'll just leave those strings. Cut it off at the bottom. And then that should be good. So we can check our length on our little charms, see if we like where they are. I think they're going to be fine. So they're kind of staggered. A little sheep, a cow, a horse. That should be good. A little piggy. Looks like he's hitting good. Yep, I think it'll be fine. And then let's check our length. Make sure we're good on our length. I'm just gonna, I have no idea which way this is gonna lay. Trace my jump ring sideways. Okay. Let's see how it looks. I think I've got it in the right direction. Yeah, okay. So that's going to be like that. So our length, we can easily cut. Here's the chicken, that's the longest one. So I should be able to cut it just above the bottom there. So I'll try to trim those off relatively even, just below the chicken. I'll try and get them to kind of lay out. It's easier if they lay in order, but you know, that never works. Especially once it's on there, it's always a mess. I'll do the best I can. All right, somewhere about here. I'm just gonna trim those. A lot of these will have to be singed at the end just to keep them from fraying. We might need glue, like this burlap. I think I have to glue that to keep it from fraying, although it might not fray too bad. Let's see. It may not. But I know that all these polyester ones will definitely fray. And once they start, boy, they just take off. So I'm just gonna burn the ends that need burned. somewhat straight. That's good, that's good. There's another green one. That'll fray. I think that, I'm not sure what that is. I know it frays. I don't know if it's poly though. Guess we'll find out. Yep, it melts. Okay. So I'm just going to go through and seal these so they don't keep fraying like crazy. Come on. I have no idea which ones I've done. I can kind of tell. Come on, lighter. I know you're almost empty. Don't give up on me. You're going to give up on me, aren't you? Do I have another one handy? Probably not. Alright, I might have to do this. Oh. It worked. Come on. It never fails. It runs out on a live, right? Yeah, it's out. I knew it was getting low. I get these from the Dollar Tree, but they actually last a while. I've been using this one for a while. Oh, there it goes. All right, how many did I miss? That one looks good. That one's good. That one's good. That one missed. Let's see if I can get it. Is it gonna work? Oh, it worked. And this is definitely fraying like crazy. I want to not turn it off, but it's too hard to handle. Okay, where's the other side of that? There it is. Okay. You can feel if you get them or not, because it definitely, these I usually just throw a little bit of glue on, this cotton. It doesn't tend to fray horribly, but I'll put just a little bit of glue on there, if my art glitter will come out. Come on, art glitter. I know, I left the pen out too long. Now you're mad at me. Drop of glue. Keep it from fraying. The other half of that. I think I got them all. All right, I think so. All right, let's see. Messy. Oh, hey Bonnie, I didn't see you come in. All right, let's see how we look. Looks good. Lots of little cute little charms on there. So we got our little chicken, sheep. Piggy. These are just buttons, but yeah, they work as charms. Horse and a cow and one more chicken. I added several left, but that was just too many. It's the ones I bought that I showed you the other day. I had a few more left somewhere floating around here. So there it is. There's our little charm tassel. It's a good length. Doesn't hang over the edge too badly or anything. I think it looks good. All right. Not too bad, huh? So the only thing really left to do with this is sew it in. Do I want to try to sew it in on camera? Ooh. It's a thick one, and I hate sewing them in on camera. I mean, I really haven't spent a lot of time. That took 30 minutes, so I should just try to sew it in on camera. Just tape up. I guess I could. Why not? I really don't have anything else. That was it. I already did the writing board, and now we've done the trim tassel. I'm going to pull it off, though. So it is removable, so if it's in your way, you can remove it. I'll set that over there. Sewing these in, I am going to do a 5-hole. A 3-hole on this size of a journal is just not sturdy enough, in my opinion. So I'm going to do a 5-hole, which is typically what I do. I would say a good 90% of the time. We'll just go ahead and do this. If y'all don't want to stick around, you can always catch the replay and just fast forward or whatever, but I might as well do it. If I don't do it with y'all, I'm just going to do it right after I close the live out. So you need to figure out what wax thread you want to use. And I just want something that'll look good on this cover. Honestly, it could be just this clear color. It's a natural, I guess. It could be brown. It could be black. It could even be red. What do y'all think? Should I do natural or red? I even have a green. My green's a little light though. I think it's too light. I don't have a sagey green. I have a blue green, but not a sagey green. Other than that, I just have some like darker browns. This one's like kind of, I think I called this tea brown. What do you think? What do you like? What do I call that hook for the tassel? That is a Tim Holtz hook. I don't know if I have the label for it. Let me see if I saved it. Because it's not a lobster claw. It has a different name. He may just call them hooks. I don't know what he calls them. I'm trying to see if I had the little original thing I had it in. I don't see it. Yeah, I don't see it. So I don't know without looking it up. I'll try to look it up for you, Deborah, and answer your comment later. But it's a Tim Holtz hook. I don't remember what he calls them. Anyway, do y'all like a particular color or do you care? The red might be different, I guess. I think I have enough. It looks like I do. I should have enough. I don't use the red that often. I need my water. Let's go there. It's here. Anyway, nobody's answering. I know you guys usually don't care too much what I do. So we need hooks, binder clips, these guys. I think I used 2 of those. 4? 2? I don't know. We'll just pull them all. I need 4 of the big ones. Yep, Deborah said red. All right. You win. Okay. I've already made a template because I use it all the time. I just got to figure out where it is. Where is it hiding? Some red. prepared to do this, but that's okay. We will make it work. All right, so I got my little template. So this is my template for my Amazon packaging 5-hole pamphlet stitch with 3 signatures. All right, and it's never fits to the outside, but I just center it, and then this line fits to the pages. Okay, so you want one line that fits to the top of your and bottom of your pages. You want to mark it with the top so you know what the top is, because the holes are never the same this way and this way. They just never are, no matter how hard you try. So always have a top and make sure that goes on the top. And this is just a piece of watercolor paper, and I measured everything out the first time I did it, made sure it had a center. And these are, I think, a 1/2 inch apart, but that's just going to depend on how big your signatures are. Mine tend to fall at about that point, so I'll usually just hold up my signatures and kind of see where they're hitting. And for me, that, I think, about 1/2 inch seems to work well most of the time. If I can find my ruler here, I will tell you how big it is. Yeah, it's about 1/2. It's a fraction more than 1/2, but it's close enough. So that's how I figure out how far apart I want them. It's really based on my signatures and how they're kind of sitting. And then you need like a chalk pencil or something that will show up on your cover. And you need to find your center. This should be my center where I put the eyelet. Isn't always, but it should be. Got a white chalk pencil that should work. If not, I can use black. It's not a big deal. They don't really, the holes don't really show that much. If you don't know your center, you can just fold it and figure out the center. Or you can measure. It should be 7 inches from the outside. So 7 inches from my outside is where my center is. And then just you can just mark it with the chalk pencil or whatever. And mark the bottom. Let's see. Okay, so that's my center. And then you want to line up your center, and you're going to mark all these holes. And if this is not, sometimes this doesn't work very well. We'll see if I get it to go through. My holes have gotten bigger. They started out a whole lot smaller than this, but I've used this particular template probably 50 times. So it's a little bit bigger than it used to be. Let's see if I can get these to show enough. Yeah, they might be working. I'm just twisting it. These chalk pencils tend to break fairly easy. Let's see, those 3. Did I get those 3? Okay, got them all. So you mark your little holes. Let me just see. See? Okay, and then get yourself a piece of scrap foam that came from some Amazon packaging that I use. If I can find it under here. It's somewhere under here. There it is. So just a piece of scrap foam. I've seen people use like foam books and things like that, but I think this works better. It's a dense foam, so I like the way it works. But like I said, it's a recycled item. So, and then you need your awl. Ideally, you want an awl that doesn't get too fat, but this was the one I found. So I intend to just push it in only up to about here, because the higher up you go, the wider it is, and I don't want my holes super wide. So we're going to poke these in. So about to where I said. Try to be pretty accurate. It will make your life easier matching up the holes when you sew the signature in. I know I missed that top one. I don't think I've sewed one of these in on camera in a while. I got to where it was, it can be very tedious to sew it in on camera because there's a lot of steps. I have to still take all the stuff out of the signatures, all the little tags and things like that. And I haven't done that ahead of time. So this will take the full time. If it starts going over, I may stop, but we'll see. So I'm just making sure all these holes are through. And I will look on the other side too and just make sure I can see them. Ideally, sometimes they're very difficult to see from the other side. So you can usually feel them, but like you can't hardly see them. So if you punch it from the other side as well, you can kind of see it a little bit better. A lot of times if I can't see it, I'll like hold it up to light or something and I can see it, but usually I can feel them. And I like doing it from both sides because like I said, it never seems to work just from one side. Can't tell that one. Where is it at? Oh, there, I felt it. Usually I'll feel it go through. So just move your all around and because you've already got a hole there, you just got to find it. And you can, when you hit it, you'll know because it'll go right through. There it is. I like it when they're not this difficult. Darker fabrics tend to be, especially really dark pattern fabrics, tend to be a little challenging. And if you have lace or something on there, then it's really challenging. So I would not suggest having lace on it the first time you do one of these because you might get aggravated. All right, did I get them all? Can't see that middle one. I know I did it. It's very hard to see. It's because it's so dark. All right, so hopefully I can find all those holes. And then you want to, like I said, you have to prepare these. So let me zoom out. What I do is I have a system where I put labels. And they're just sticky notes. And it doesn't really matter which one you do. I do start with the last signature. So I do also need to make sure this is the way I wanted to do this. I think it was. Let me look at the pictures. No, I wanted that one in the middle. So that's how I wanted these. So what I do is I go through and I make sure everything's in its place where I want it to sit. I'm going to have this one higher so we can adjust that bulk like I talked about. So this is going to sit up here. And I get rid of things that might move or fall out. Okay. So that's what these sticky notes are for. And I just go through and I put one sticky note on the item and one sticky note on the page. And then I turn it upside down and I just keep going. So it just makes life a lot easier if you don't have all this bulk to deal with of your tags and things. when you're trying to sew them in. I added some stamps to this MAC page because I had a whole bunch of these stamps that come on junk mail. And they were like barns and things. A barn quilt and some barns. So I put those on there. So this is a little bit of time consuming, but well worth it. If it's anything that's inside and it's not going to really move around, you don't need to worry about it. I don't even think I put a tag in there. It's just a picture. If it's not going to move, don't stress about it. I've been reusing these stickies probably 10 times now, so they're not super sticky anymore. Amazingly, they are still sticking. Alright, so there's the first one. You just want to make sure it's seated nicely. We'll set that up there. Do the next one. And I've got this A through Z, and then I have a couple of numbers in case I run out. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I run out. I added a fabric flip. I don't think I did that with y'all. I just thought that page was just a little plain, so I just threw a fabric flip on there. This might possibly move like this and get stuck in the signatures. I'm going to tape it down. I think I'm going to use my... I have a little bit left on this one. Mint tape. It doesn't stick to the fabric super well, but it will stick to the paper without ripping it. So now I'll keep that in place while I'm sewing. This guy will pull out. G. This has a little bit of mint tape there, as that's the position I wanted that. I'm just going to put a little bit more. It's a little heavy. This has some stuff in it. We'll just take it out so the bulk's not messing with us. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I gotta figure out what's next. I guess Halloween. I'm gonna do, I don't think I'm gonna do a vignette this year. I will do a journal though. And I've got that spider web, purple and orange spider webs that I'm gonna use. So I'm thinking it's gonna be kind of a light-hearted Halloween. We're not going to go too scary on this one. I know I tend to be a little on the darker side with my Halloween stuff because I just like scary stuff. I don't know why. Just me. But we'll go a little more light-hearted this time. And I'll have to see what I have. I don't have a lot of stuff like that. But I'll see. And if not, I'm sure I can find some sort of digital that'll work. You'd be surprised the amount of bulk these guys add. This stuff. These I can't really remove, these little turny tabs. So they should stay. I don't think they're going to be a problem moving around or anything on me. This I'll move though. Oh, where'd my M go? There's my M. I didn't even notice it wasn't the N. Not that it's a big deal. I probably would have figured, what did I put on there? Oh, I didn't put anything on there. All right, that's supposed to be an N. And an N. All right, did it the right way. And that's an M. And an M. Okay. Stickies got out of order. This can't really go anywhere, and it's not going to come into that signature, so I don't need to really worry about it. I might tape it just a little so it's not flopping around. Just tape it there. All right, so there's that one. Number 2 and number 3. So yeah, we'll be starting the Halloween one pretty soon. What is today? Wednesday? I think it's Wednesday. I added this in there. I know I said I was going to change it out. I did. I wasn't with the one I set up. So probably Monday is Labor Day. I don't mind doing a live on Labor Day. I don't think I have any plans. And I think my husband is working. So I will probably start the new one on Labor Day. That's Monday, right? I think it is. No idea, guys. I can't see the calendar from here, but I think it is. So Friday, I will just jump on and do a flip through of this completely completed, because I like to have the flip through on a separate video. So I'll probably just do that Friday, so there won't be a lot Friday. I might just kind of talk about things for the upcoming one. So I don't tend to have a lot of viewers on my lives. Most everybody watches the replay, so it's not a huge deal, but I do like having you all to talk to. So I really appreciate it when you guys do show up for my lives. It gets very lonely just sitting here by myself. I like for you guys to interact and have, you know, opinions about what I'm doing. Especially those of you who often purchase them. It doesn't really move. I don't think it'll get in my way, but I'm going to tape it. If I can get this new tape started. I don't really want it flipping open on me. I think that might be it. No, one more. That one. So we didn't need to go into the numbers. I almost always go through the entire alphabet for these. That seems to be the amount of ephemera that I typically have. You can't write in them because you don't want to, or how come? Why can't you write in them? You just don't, you don't want to mark them up or something, or? I don't write in my journals because I don't know what to say. I have a boring life. See how much thinner? Look, that's how much that bulk was. Do you remember how thick that was? It really makes a big difference. And then we have this whole pile. Well, I know Dawn writes in all hers. You won't mess them up. But I understand. I do. Alright, so now we've got these. So I like to start with the back because I find it easier to work from the back to the front. So we're going to start with the back and just figure out where I can set this. Set it there. And then we want to put our holes for this. So you find your center page. You just want to make sure everything is seated completely down as best as you can get it. And make sure that all of your pages that do move are in the right place. We've already done that. Okay, so just seat it down real good. And then what you want to do is hold it somewhat open, but not too much. And add, which clip do I use first? I think I use this to hold my pattern in, so we're going to use these clips. So add a binder clip. You don't want it completely flat because that changes this. If I open this, see how those move? You don't want to do that. You want to keep it almost closed. Okay, so keep it nice and tight. Put your binders on there. And I'm keeping them away from the center because I'm going to have to put this in there. And I don't want to block it. So I just kind of keep them all pushed in there. And I'll flatten out those clips in a second. It's hard to do with one hand. That's about there. All right, so then I've got that. Close all those down. And that just keeps everything from moving around. But now I have to add this. So this is only for the center hole. Okay, make sure you have the top at the top so it lines up. All right, so we're going to put the top at the top and we're going to line up those two lines I talked about that are the center. Just make sure it's centered. And then I use one of these for this and to keep it in place. Now they do make binder cradles. They're called cradles, and they're basically a piece of wood that is shaped like this, and you can set it in there to keep it at this angle. I don't use one. I just keep it at that angle. So find your, where'd it go? Where did I put the awl? Oh, there it is. Find your awl. You don't really need the foam for this. It does kind of help if you just want to raise it up and be a little better, you know, it does stick in there sometimes a little. So you want to have it at about a 45-degree angle when you put this in. If you don't, like I said, those pages are going to separate and you're not going to line it up. All the holes will be in a different spot slightly. So keep it somewhat closed. Find your hole. Try to go through at the correct angle, and you should come out right at your point. Okay, right on the edge. Okay, and then just make sure you go through enough. The hole is big enough to work with, but not, you know, not crazy big. You don't want to get it so big that your thread's loose. So you put your holes in there, all 5 of them. And then you can take off this part. Okay, because we don't want to sew that in. And if you sew it in, you're going to have to tear it out and make another one. And we don't want to do that. Okay, grab our cover. Okay, oh, I've got that writing board in there. Pull that out. Okay. So this is going to go in the last set of holes. And we're going to get our thread. And if I can't get all of these done, you'll at least have seen a few. They're the same. The first one's the same as the last. So 3 times the length. 1, 2, 3. I usually give myself just a tiny bit of extra. It's typically more than enough. Grab yourself a needle. Your needle needs to be wide enough for your holes, but not so wide that, you know, it opens them up. So you want a needle that's, you don't want the head to be crazy wide. I use typically, where's it at? Mine is dull. I think I've been using, not that one. That seems too short. Which one is it? Is it this one? Oh, maybe just that one. I'm going to go with that. I don't know. This seems a little wide. I think it's the shorter one. We'll go with the shorter one. All right, so see how the head is almost the same as, it's hard to see, as the base? That's what you want. Some of these needles, you'll find the heads are really wide. You don't want to get one like that. And also, they sell them where they're dull on the end. If they're dull on the end, you're going to be less likely to split threads and things like that. And you're also going to be less likely to poke yourself. So it's easier to work with one that is dull on the end. So I have a couple in here that I've dulled, because I couldn't, at the time, I couldn't find needles that were dull. So I just used sandpaper and dulled it down. So grab your needle. And we're going to thread this. This wax thread I got off Amazon. There's tons of it. So give yourself a little bit of a tail. And you're going to go through. You start in the middle. I've got like a pattern for this because it can be a little tricky to remember. Somewhere. Let's see if I can find it. Where's my cheat sheet? Is this it? I think this is it. Okay. This is my cheat sheet. And it's just, here, you can screenshot it if you want. It tells me where to go in and where to go out. Because the first time you do a 5-hole, honestly, the 5th time you do a 5-hole, it can be a little bit confusing. They're a little more confusing than a 3-hole. But number 1 is at the center. All the pamphlet stitch, number 1 is at the center. So go in through here. And we're going to pull it all the way to where my tail is right here. And I'm just going to attach my tail to my book. That way I don't accidentally pull it through. You don't have to do this. It's just something I do. It's a little harder once you have the lace on here, but I like to add the lace ahead of time. So through the center, you can follow the little pattern in through there, in through the center of your back set of holes. Okay. I leave a little bit of a gap and then I work with figuring out and getting them together. Some people put them right together and try to line it up and do it. I cannot do that. It never works for me. So second hole, you come to the outside. I'm going to have to flip it because I can't work on that way. So you go down 1. So make sure you're on the same row. It is easy to get on the wrong row. So go in through there. And pull it to where, just a spot where you're comfortable with. I tend to like, I don't know, about an inch, inch and a half. And then in through here. Make sure I'm at the top. Make sure your thing is upright. You know, the top's at the top. It is. But in through there. All right. And then the next one is the bottom hole. And you're going to snag on everything because that's just the way it works. And then in through that one. I'm not left-handed. And then once you do that, you're going to go, let me think. I think it's back through the second one, but let me just double check. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to go to this hole here that we did. And what you got to do is you got to get your thread to one side. I know it's so hard to show on camera, but I just use my finger inside and push it to one side and then try to get the needle on the other. Okay, and then in through there, and the same thing here. So this one, the thread goes the opposite way. So I've got a thread going this direction, so I want to be on this side. And if you're lucky, everything lines up and it goes right through and you have no issues. But you're not always that lucky. Now, for this step, you skip the middle, okay? So you've come in through that one, and we're going to jump up to the one just above the middle. All right, in through there. The back one. And then the top one. And I just keep flipping it, which is why it can be a little confusing to do on camera. Because it's just easier if you just flip it and do it that way. All right, and then in through that one. Okay, and then down through this one. Make sure you stay to the side of that thread. You got to close it a little bit so it goes through the hole. Oh, like, why is it catching? It was catching on that. All right, and then same thing here. Figure out which way the thread's going. It's going up, so I want to make sure I'm to this side of it. All right, and then we're going to go into the center. Same thing, make sure your thread's the opposite direction so you don't split it. The problem is if you split that thread, you won't be able to move it. It'll just be stuck, and then you'll have to pull all the thread out and do it again, unless you can get it to unsplit, which sometimes you can. I'm gonna pull this off because I don't need that on there now, and I can move this to one side to kind of see where it hits. Hopefully. It's hard to do the last one, honestly. I'm trying to line it up. Did I get it? I think I got it. Okay. So last one. Now this one, you want one thread on one side of what I call the bridge and one side on the other side, okay? You can go ahead and pull your needle out, and then you just want to tighten everything up. And sometimes it's easy to figure out how to tighten it. Sometimes it's challenging. So I usually just kind of start moving stuff and see if I can figure it out. Sometimes I can never figure out which way the thread is supposed to be going. It's hard to remember what pulls what and all that, but just play with it. You'll figure it out. No, that's the wrong way. So let me just pull that tight. No, wrong one. There it is. So this one pulls this one, and I usually keep my awl handy for this. Just makes it easier. Pull that one. Is it this one? Yep. And then I'll tighten. Just tightening everything. I think it's this one. Something's not pulling right again. Can't tell which way. I just keep messing with it until I get them all nice and snug. And, you know, it can be challenging figuring out which one. I've seen people just sit here and go like this back and forth, but I find when I do that, it makes my holes open up too much. So you want it to be snug, okay? It should look, you know, like this. It shouldn't look loose. And then you can tie your knot. All right. A square knot's best, so one direction, one the other direction. And then I just leave this on. I cut off a little, but I leave some for the buyer. That way, if they want to add charms or anything on the bottom, because a lot of people like to do that, they can do what they want with it, or they can tie a bow, or they can just cut it off. Okay, that's just what I do. And then you pull off all the little things. And we have one signature done, and the others are exactly what I just did, repeat it. The only thing you have to do is just keep in mind, you know, which hole and that you've got everything in the right order. So let's grab our second one. So this is our middle signature. Okay, we're just going to make sure it's seated nicely. Make sure all of our pages look like they're in the right spots. Okay, seat it, find the center. There's my center. Just push it in there and put your little clips. Go ahead and squish that down if I can. Sometimes they don't want to seat. It looks like it could be seated just a little bit better. Let me open that back up. Get in there. Yeah, it's probably as good as I'm going to get it. There's something probably bulky there. All right, so once you got it seated, do your little template. Make sure you got the T at the top. Very, very important. And seat that in there nicely. I was doing this with one and then trying to move the clip. And I found that so much harder, so I started doing it this way. I've learned over time things that work better. All right, put your little holes in there. Roy, we're not painting today, hon. You get to see me do a junk journal. Roy provides me lots of photos to do my paintings with. I've done many of his. But today we're junk journaling. He hasn't said hi or anything, but he says he's watching. He's lurking. All right, so there's that. And we need our thread. So 1, 2, 3. I need to paint. I haven't painted. I don't know. I haven't been in the mood. And I'm one of those artists. Sometimes I get artist block. And I just haven't painted. I'm sure I will sooner or later. All right, so in through the center. And clip down my little tail. Where'd my small one go? There it is. Actually, I almost need the big one because all this lace. Can't tell if I get there. All right, in through the center, and then in through the center of this. And this next one down. as you work with your journals, sometimes the holes will kind of start closing up. If that happens, you can just poke your awl back through there, which it kind of looks like it did right there. I can barely see that hole. It's still there, it's just not easy to see. Did I get it? There. Okay. It's not quite lining up. Nope. Where are you? Nope. That one's fighting me. Do it again. Not sure why it's fighting me, but it is. Anytime it's fighting, I've found it's just easier just to poke the awl back in there again and line it up. Makes life... Oh, what are you stuck on? Okay. The bottom. Got it. It's a little bit loose. Tighten that just a little bit more. It's almost too much play. Snags on everything. I thought I closed you. Did I not? Alright, and then up through this one. Make sure to move your thread to one side if you can. Just makes life a little bit easier if you can get the thread to go to one side. Back through here. This one, the thread's on the opposite side. And then we're going to skip the middle. Go up to the next one. How much time we got? 30 minutes? I might get this done. I might actually do it. All right, and then through this one. Okay. Here. And I don't think I split it. It was a little iffy there for a second. And then this one goes down. All right. I can't tell if it's splitting. Felt like it was grabbing some fabric there. Sometimes you're not just splitting your thread, sometimes you're splitting the fabric. So you gotta kind of watch that too. But it didn't. All right, so there's that. And the last one. Move that to the bottom. Okay. And then on each side of the little bridge. And let's tighten everything up. I got a lot of extra there and no extra there, so let's do this side first. See if we can pull it a little bit. Which one is that coming from? Is it this one? Maybe? I think it's that one. Not quite. Okay, and then this one. so loose. It's not liking that bottom for some reason. Is it this one? Yeah. Okay. Just get it to a good tightness and you can tie your knot. A little off on my thread that time. I don't know how that happened, but sometimes it does. Sometimes as you're maneuvering, your threads get off, but that's okay. It's still got plenty of extra. That's why I like to give myself extra. I know it seems like waste, but a big piece like this I'll keep, and I can use this to, you know, tie something or top a tag or something. It's not wasted. All right, so pull off our little clips. And we have number 2 done. So there's that. Now we get to do the third one, which is our first signature. Sure, seated nicely. This is the one that's got that bulky fabric one in it, so it might be challenging. Now this one, I want to make sure that I'm getting at least a couple of these holes in here. So I am going to think about where this is in reference to the holes. So I want to line it up and see if I'm getting preferably like 3 of these holes in there. So I'm going to move it up just a fraction. And that way I should get 3 holes in that one. That'll just keep it straighter. At the very least 2. But, you know, if you can get all 3, that's good. Keep it nice and tight. And try to open up to the center. Where's my center? There it is. Right. Keep it nice and snug. Oops, I missed it. What is that? I bet it's that zipper, isn't it? Yeah. I'm going to try turn it the other way. It's catching a little bit. I'm going to move this out. Let's see. Let me try something. The zipper is causing issues. Maybe there. Doesn't seem like it's seated good. I think so. Redo this one just a little bit. Come on, open. Okay, I think I got it. All right, and we'll put our template. Top goes to the top. I have a feeling this one might be challenging because of that bulky fabric bag I've got in there. But we shall see. Hopefully I can get it to work right. I don't know how hard it's going to be pushed through either. It's a little hard. I knew it would be because it's, you know, it's bulky and it's several layers of fabric. And those 3 holes all have it, so. Okay. Pull that off. And get our needle. One, two, three. how long I've been making these journals. It's probably been, it might be 3 years now. But I've had all this thread that I bought from the beginning, and it's lasted all that time with all the journals I've made. So it's a good deal. I don't think it cost $10 at the most. Let's see, can I get through the fabric? Oh, I did it. Pull the tail up. And all right, preparing myself. We'll see how it goes. All right, there's one. And through the middle, flip her over, bottom. This one doesn't have the fabric, so it should go easy. So top three that are going to be a challenge, I have a feeling. Okay. Through here. And up through here. Skip the middle. All right, and then that one easy. The top. And see if we can keep it lined up. Yep. Yay. All right, and then this one. Go. Stay in there? No. It's going to fight me. Let me try turning this way. Alright, so just want to make sure to move that thread out of the way. Got it. Okay. And then through this hole. Which way is that going? Up. Alright, what you doing? And up through the middle, center. All right, let's see if we can get you in there. All right, tail. Which way do we want you to go? I think we want you to go down. Nope, not hitting it. Hold on. Come on. You're going through something, but it ain't the middle. I can feel it. Oh, there it is. I got it. Alrighty. And we'll tighten them all up. Nope. I totally split that thread. Look at that. I did split a thread. It came through. Luckily it was on the outside, but I did split one. Alright. Which way are you going? Which one is that pulling? I can't tell. I think it's this one. Which is this one? Nope, this one. Oh my not snug enough. It's tricky when you get them all in there to get them snug. Now you're dealing with all that bulk. It's important that they're snug so they don't move around. Nope. You'll know as soon as you start pulling if you're pulling on the wrong one. So it doesn't move at all. This one, this one. No. Which one? This one. Okay. All right, I think I did it. So we want to get on each side of that because I pulled out from under it. Let's see if I can grab it. Okay, tie that down. And tie it down. There we go. Cut off the extra. And we are good. Clips off. Hopefully that one stayed where it was supposed to. Okay. Let's see. Yep. Looks good. All right. Go. So we have all of our signatures in there. We've got lace on all of our edges. And then we just have to throw everything back in there, which I'm not going to do on camera. I'll do that off camera, but it's all together. We just got to put all the ephemera back and it will be ready for a final flip through for y'all. There. Okay, so that is it. So we've got our threads and ties up nicely. So that's not too bad. That's not too bulky. It's a good distance. It doesn't have the ephemera in here yet though, so it will be a little bulkier, but if you can still kind of close it a little bit, once you get your ephemera in, you're usually fine. So it's not too bad. All right. I'll get the ephemera in off camera because I'm not going to make y'all sit through that again. And I will do a flip through on this on Friday. And then we'll be on to the next one, guys. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed the process of making this and learning how to do all the little steps. It's not that bad. Like I said, the first few times you do a signature, it can be challenging, but you'll get the hang of it. Where's my needle? All right, so y'all have a wonderful rest of your evening. I'll see you guys on Friday, and y'all take care. All right, bye-bye.